Hi!
Hello, and welcome to the Daily Almanac for December 23rd. So, let's get started.
This day in history!
On this day in history, December 23rd, 1788, Maryland voted to give a 100 square mile area, which is 161 square kilometers, for the location of the national government. About 2/3 of the area became the District of Columbia. Also, on this day in 1970, the construction of the World Trade Center in New York City reached 1,353 feet, which is 411 meters, its highest point. This was a complex of 7 buildings, including twin 110-story towers. Observation decks at the top of the towers gave a view of 45 miles, which is 72 kilometers. Once the highest skyscrapers in the world, until surpassed by the Sears Tower in Chicago, the Twin Towers were totally destroyed on September 11, 2001 by terrorists who crashed hijacked airliners into them. And on this day in 1986, the experimental airplane Voyager, piloted by Dick Rutan and Jeana Yeager, completed the first non-stop around-the-world flight without refueling when it landed safely at Edwards Air Force Base in California. Today on Word Power, we're going to talk about the saying, baker's dozen. Now, we all know that a dozen is 12, right? But if you get a baker's dozen of bagels, it means that you get 13 bagels. The reason for this is that baked goods were once sold by weight. Now, if a baker was selling a dozen loaves of bread, but the bread didn't weigh enough, the baker could be fined. So instead of risking getting the fine, bakers would add an extra pastry to the dozen, making a baker's dozen.
Ooh, extreme.
Today on Extremes, we ask, what is the most violent place in a cyclone? The answer is the eye wall. An eye wall is a tall group of storm clouds which circles around the eye or the center of the storm. These clouds can be 49,000 feet tall or 15,000 meters and can have wind speeds over 150 miles per hour or 241 kilometers per hour. Because the most powerful winds and rain of a cyclone are found in the eye wall, it often causes the greatest damage. In powerful storms, there can be multiple layers of eye walls. Amazingly, the eye of the storm, which sits inside the eye wall, is the calmest part of the storm.
Health tips.
I want to talk with you about the mineral iron. Iron helps form a part of your red blood cells called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin carries oxygen from your lungs all through your body. Some foods rich in iron are meat, especially red meat, such as beef. Also, tuna and salmon, eggs, beans, baked potatoes with skins, dried fruits like raisins, leafy green vegetables such as broccoli, and whole and enriched grains like wheat or oats. As a result of many battles, laws, and amendments, modern-day voting is a simple matter. To vote in a presidential election today, you must be 18 years old, a United States citizen, and not a convicted felon. Each state has its own requirements, but the National Voter Registration Act of 1993 makes registering simple. Thanks to the act, also called the Motor Voter Law, states now permit citizens to register by mail when they obtain their driver's license or at government agencies. You can even download a voter registration form online. Well, that's all the time we have left today for Daily Almanac. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope to see you tomorrow.